Hey, how you doing today, Adam?
I'm alright. How are you?
Doing good. It's good to get to see you today. So it's our first time coming in. You called the office. You kind of told us you just wanted to talk about some relational stuff and look at that. So I'm gonna let you take the reins here and tell me what you want to tell me. What you want me to know about you right off the bat.
All right. I don't know what it is. I just can't stay in a relationship. That's like the big thing. It's just super frustrating to me. And like I've been rejected in the past, and it just seems to keep happening.
Just piling on, maybe.
And it's just like adding up and adding up. And I don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end with it. Yeah.
So you're fed up with getting in these relationships and those the last.
So fed up.
Oh, I could tell, dude.
What it is.
You're just over with it.
And then I put it on myself, like it's my fault, and then I think there's something wrong with me, and I just don't know.
So you kind of pull you get these relationships, maybe they just don't work out for some reason or another, and, not your fault, maybe your fault, but it always feels like it's on you.
Yeah. Just this weight, like, I'm the guy, so I have to ask the girls, and
it's a man's job right there.
Why's it got to be the man's job?
Exactly. That's how it always seems to play out. But
of course, even if it's my job, I can't seem to attract anybody.
So you want to kind of tell me maybe a situation where this played out? Maybe some more details so I can understand that.
Yeah, so last month it was.
Okay.
We've been dating for a month, maybe.
Okay.
And I thought it was going well. I mean, we would go out a few times a week. And I thought we were really getting to know each other. And I was okay with where we were at. But then she, out of the blue, comes up and says, hey, like, I just don't feel like we're going anywhere, and I don't know that I want to be with you. And that was the end of it.
That's pretty intense for no signs, it sounds like.
I know. I don't know. And that's not the first time someone's done that.
I
don't know.
Seems like it's all fine and dandy.
Yeah, I mean, I text her every day. I would text her every day, and I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like you're doing what's right to be in a relationship. Sounds like. Maybe when you get in these relationships, it sounds like you've had a string of a few of them that haven't played out as much as you'd like. What are you looking for?
I think I just want somebody. Like, I never really had a best friend. So I don't really know what I'm looking for.
You're kind of looking for one of those buddy/romantic type.
Yes, exactly.
How it plays out in some of the movies.
Oh, I would love that. It would be wonderful. I never really got that growing up. My dad was kind of in and out of the picture, and Mom hated me. So I was kind of the outcast at school too, I guess. So no, I never really had that.
It's kind of looking for something solid.
Yeah,
something you can trust.
But obviously, I can't trust any of them. I trust me, and that's about it.
Wow. So you brought up some very interesting things about maybe where you come from and what it was like growing up. You mentioned, you said your dad kind of left, or he just wasn't really.
He was a jerk.
He was a jerk. So was he in the home, out of the home?
He would just come and eat our food and steal our money.
Wow.
I don't know what it was, the food or whatever, but yeah.
It was a back and forth type thing.
He would act like he cared about us when he was there, but it was I grew up and just figured things out, and he didn't care.
So you kind of had to navigate things without that guide that a father can sort of be.
Because I had nobody else. And my mom wasn't much help either.
Sounds like it. Well, tell me, what was your relationship like with her?
She pretty much took care of me in the sense of I was her son, and she fed me and clothed me, and that was about it.
So she bare minimum, it sounds like.
Well, she had her own problems.
I see.
It was, half the time dealing with her own stuff, so she could barely take care of us.
Yeah, it sounds like. Put that down. I'll come back to that later.
Okay.
Let's see. So, grew up. Dad's not in the picture so much, and when he is, it's kind of just like, why is he here?
Yeah, pretty much.
What does he want from us?
Never really knew him. It's just,
And Mom, she's trying, but she's just
trying.
She has a lot on her plate.
Overstatement.
Okay. She's doing enough to, at least have you call her Mom, I guess.
I was an only child.
Wow.
So it was me, myself, and I.
And she was still just.
She had her bouts with drugs and alcohol.
So that was the.
Just kind of in and out. Yeah.
In and out of.
Not the home, just in and out of relationship with her kid.
Oh, so she was just. So there's just nothing you could really trust.
Yeah.
See. And then you said this played out some in the way you related to people at school. Or
yeah, I never trusted anybody. I never knew really how to act with them. So I would try and act the way I thought I was supposed to, but I would just get bullied. And it was it wasn't fun. So I was homeschooled.
You were homeschooled? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why, but my aunt stopped by one day. And she decided to take me under her wing. I know it's a really weird thing, but I was so thankful for that.
Wow, so it sounds like she kind of took some of that responsibility that maybe your mother wasn't living up to. She said she homeschooled you.
Yes.
Was this after being in the normal, not normal, just
middle school?
Yeah. Okay. So, and did that help with kind of the bullying and things like that, or did?
Because it was just me.
Yeah.
Just me then.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? So, did you enjoy those years with the aunt?
Yeah, because I wasn't getting bullied, but at the same time, I didn't have anybody. You know what it's like to just sit at home and not have anybody?
Loneliness.
So lonely.
Just
so lonely.
Being with yourself.
Yeah. So now, I find someone, and it's like, oh my goodness, I actually have somebody.
You're talking about the aunt?
No, I'm talking.
Oh, you're talking about relationships.
Yeah, relationships.
All right.
And they can't see that.
Maybe they don't understand the importance of the relationship you guys set up.
I guess. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Because me and my aunt would talk all the time. But she was there once a week.
So you kind of had one solid figure, but still in and out because.
Yeah, nobody.
I see. So when you get in a relationship, you're looking for someone to trust, and someone you can be with. How are these starting to develop? Like, where do these relationships come up?
Some people I meet at a bar, just start that conversation. I've tried dating apps a few times, but get some real interesting people with those.
I've heard.
I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah.
So Yeah, just going to the typical places you meet people and find somebody. And, well, how do you, when you strike up that, maybe that friendship or kind of that first interest with someone, how does it progress? Like, what does that progression look like?
We typically exchange numbers first, and then I'm usually the one that has to initiate something. They're being the guy again, I guess.
Go back, oh, it's the marriage problem.
It usually takes them a while to get back to me anyway. But then usually we'll go out on a date or two, and then that's the end of it. This last person, though, she hung on for a little bit longer.
So
I thought that she was the one. Guess not.
Yeah, so you said usually a couple dates and it kind of fizzles out. This one stuck around for, you said, a month?
Yeah.
Looks like it's starting kind of a foundation or something.
I thought so.
What were you feeling with when you're hanging out with her, when you're thinking about it?
On top of the world. It was the best thing ever. Because I had somebody. I mean, I didn't really share a whole lot. So, why would I? I can't trust anybody. And she would cry a little bit. I never really let her in.
So you didn't really share with her much? I see.
But she would share with me a whole lot.
So she'd let you know where she was coming from and things.
She seemed to be understanding. Then it seemed like more towards the end we were fighting more. And she said I had to actually do something in the relationship, and she felt like it was just all her. And I thought I was working really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're taking your time to text her, taking your time to take her out.
But it was all me. Like, she would respond, but I felt like I was doing all the work. But then, how dare she say she was doing the work?
Well, what do you think she meant by saying she was doing the work?
I don't know. I guess I think she mentioned something else about I actually have to like be vulnerable at times and like actually invest in the relationship. So I don't know. I thought I was investing in the relationship. I mean, that's all I knew what to do.
Spending time and things like that, it sounds like. But
yeah.
So you said a word that really stuck out to me was vulnerability. And just what does that mean to you? What does it mean to be vulnerable?
I guess to show who you really are.
Yeah. So, has there been a time in your life where you kind of felt yourself maybe like exposing a lot?
Not really. Even with my aunt, I wouldn't. I mean, it was a little closer than me and my mom, but
yeah, it takes a lot of trust. A lot of trust to be able to.
I couldn't trust my dad. Couldn't really trust my mom. Trust my aunt more, but she was hardly ever there. So I wanted to talk to her about anything, I really couldn't.
You have to wait till she shows up. That's a tough spot to be in, for sure. Especially in those development years. I see. So, what do you think it would feel like to open up? If you haven't, what do you think those feelings, what do you think it would do for you?
What would it do for me to open up?
Yeah. Why is it so important for maybe this last girl or for other people to be vulnerable?
I just don't see any benefit in it. I never really had a chance to feel. It was just kind of always surviving. That was about it. So I don't know what that looks like. You know, I see these TV shows, people are in love, and it's, I want that, but
Yeah.
how that works.
Sometimes it does. It takes a lot. So, I mean, in a relationship, it's about knowing somebody. And knowing kind of takes some back and forth of opening up. And sounds like maybe that can be what's frustrating. Is when you said you felt like she was prying a little bit.
A little bit. I would just shut that down right away.
See.
It was, yeah.
Not
No.
ready for that one, you know.
Mm-mm. I mean, yeah, you're probably the closest person that I've known, but I'm not ready for that yet. It just takes a little longer, I think, for me.
Yeah. Did you tell her that?
I tried to.
So what were those conversations looking like?
I would just be like, this is me opening up, and I guess that wasn't good enough.
Good.
I've never been good enough.
Wow.
My dad was never there. My mom, I guess I wasn't worth taking care of.
And then you're looking at relationship.
I guess, yeah.
It's not.
I just want somebody.
I feel like you have to measure up to something.
There's nobody been there that just accepts me for me and is okay with that.
Yeah, it's a big ask from someone, but at the same time, it feels like it's something people deserve. Mind if I write something on the board? So I'll look here. Said a lot in those last couple minutes, and I appreciate that.
It's so good to get that out.
Sure. And definitely, you showed some vulnerability just in our conversation.
You're right, I did.
Appreciate that. I'm gonna write this. It's a bar.
Okay.
And I want to look, and I want you to kind of tell me what's that bar you feel like you need to reach. Why? Because here you said you don't feel you're good enough.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot.
Not good enough.
It's a big thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that makes someone good enough? What does that even mean?
I guess they have it all together. And I don't know, I see people together and they all look happy and they're enjoying each other's company. To be accepted. I don't know what that means to be accepted, because I never was. Except by my aunt. She seemed like the only one that really wanted me.
Acceptance seems key.
Yeah.
Probably kind of maybe seems to lead into some of these other ones.
I'd agree with that. I just want to be accepted for me and not have to be anything more or anything less. I have a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
I have a lot of baggage, but nobody can seem to tolerate that.
So he mentioned his baggage. He shared some of it with me. And then he mentioned accepted for who you are. And I put that up there for me. Accepted for me. And, you know, for someone to accept you for who you are, they have to know you for who you are, right? And what does that mean?
Know you. Have to get inside your head. I guess. I don't know.
Inside your head? Just know someone's thoughts.
I guess. How they work. Who they are.
Seems like that's a big part of who someone is. But is there more to it than that, do you think?
I never know.
So I'm thinking, sounds like you watch your fair share of the romantic movies, or at least have.
I'm a sucker.
A sucker. Likes the old rom-coms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they're not a fully accurate depiction. Of course they're not. They're fantasized, they're fictionalized.
I guess.
But a thread I've seen run through them, and I get stuck watching them sometimes, I gotta say, but the thread I've seen run through them is they seem to get to know each other on a deeper level than just intellectually.
You're right.
Yeah. There's something connecting them that's more than, what do you think about this? What do you think? Think you agree with that?
Yeah, I just don't know. I'm scared to do that.
So, scared to connect?
Open up, yeah. So I've been hurt by my dad, by my mom, this other girl, everybody else.
Girl. So it's like making that connection.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do with my feelings. Because I tend to fall, and when I fall hard. And what do I do? And I'm hurt. It doesn't go the right way.
Yeah. So you invest a lot, but at the same time, seems like some of that connection's gotta look like this.
I guess.
And you gotta kind of let them in on the deeper parts of who you are, and maybe where you're hurt, or what you're looking for. But once people start to get here, maybe some of this can happen. Do you see what I'm saying?
What?
Sounds like you look with last girl. Maybe she's prying. Maybe it's not her place yet. But it seems like as she does this, kind of back off more and more.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not allowing it to continue happening. It also feels a lot of it comes to this.
Yep. Why would anybody accept me? I'll be wanting something out of it.
Let's see. So you think when people come to you, make some sort of connection, whether it's a lighter connection or a romantic relationship or something like that. That there's some sort of agenda in the background.
Maybe. Or else it's just I like you for now, but what if I don't in 5 months?
Nothing you can trust or
I can't control how anybody else feels or how they feel in 2 weeks. And then if they don't feel the same way I do at that time, I can't make them stay.
sounds like you feel used at times.
I don't know that anybody has been using me, but that's how it feels.
Sounds like if we go back, maybe with your dad coming in and out. You mentioned even food, something's, maybe even not the most significant thing, but
I had to give up some of my food for him when I came.
Have to take.
I wouldn't give anything.
What would you have wanted him to give?
His heart, time.
Can I just grab a marker real quick? Thanks. Actually, the green one. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
My apologies, that was my secretary.
Okay.
Sometimes barges in.
No, I've never been here. I don't know if that. I guess that's a thing.
Usually not.
Okay.
We'll be back. So, talking. What would you want to see in your father? What would you want to receive from him?
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
What a man is supposed to be. Because honestly, when I get into relationships, the one thing I know how to do is provide for people.
To provide.
Well, it does like going out to dinner, like buy you food. I can do that much.
Giving. I think that's part of it for sure. But one thing you mentioned, I'm just going to really focus on this relationship with Dad for a moment. You said you'd like to have him give you his heart. And I think we're looking at what does it mean to be vulnerable? What does it mean to feel? That's like, there's a reason they say it's the heart of it. That's kind of the core.
I never knew how to be vulnerable. I never knew anybody who loved me like that. Like a father should, I guess.
You think you're his own blood, which is how it should be.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Work with what we're given. Yeah. So, sounds like maybe that created a barrier. Makes sense. So, let's imagine you're standing out in the field. Now there's one whole fence in front of you. Okay. Alright. Then you look here. You got Mom. Seems like she's not as out of your life as Dad, but still very back and forth and not a trustworthy, not a role model. Sounds like not something you're aspiring to repeat in your life. So, have that. Put another fence.
Mhm.
Might as well.
Have you ever seen the movie Matilda?
Matilda. I have
Well, it's basically this girl that she hates her parents. Her parents are a bunch of jerks.
not. Jerk parents.
Mm-hmm. Butt punches.
Butt munches. Is that from the movie?
No, it's just.
That's just curious.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. We can use it.
All right. Here's the family of butt munches. And so she had a teacher
Mm-hmm.
that she really came to like, and the teacher liked her, and so she adopted her. She loved her family. Perfectly good family that she left because they didn't love her. To be adopted by somebody who didn't accept her. But I feel like that little girl, Matilda. My family didn't want me, and my aunt came along. That's the only person that was there.
So, Aunt comes along talking about this. She takes you under her wing a little bit. Said she homeschooled you.
Yeah.
That's a commitment.
Mm-hmm. It is.
That's some love right there.
She was a retired teacher, so it was.
She was a professional.
Mm-hmm.
So, if she comes along and you begin building some sort of relationship with her,
Mm-hmm.
was there any those fences we were talking about? And maybe a couple of them get built with these broken relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of block you off a little more and more. When the aunt came along, did it feel like she kind of crossed over a little bit?
It felt like my parents were standing on the other side of the fence.
Okay.
And my aunt came along beside me, put her arm around me, turned around and walked away from my parents. It still hurts. They were my parents.
Yeah.
And I lived with my mom, but it was kind of like just wasn't there anymore. But I feel like I'm the one that rejected her. Because she just wasn't there.
You look back on that. It's like the aunt did some good things for you, but it's almost like you have some conflicting.
I did what I needed to do, but my mom.
Yeah. So, right now, as you're kind of
I
bringing
never
some of
talked
this
about
up,
this.
yeah, what
Talked about it.
are you feeling right now? What are you thinking?
I started crying there for a minute. It feels good to get it out. And I can see that what I did was okay because it needed to be done.
Yeah,
And it's not like I completely disowned my mom. I just wasn't the one that was primarily taking care of me.
I took a step into where that somebody's actually providing some of your needs.
Maybe that plays into not being good enough too. That I put that all that weight on me. That it was my fault.
Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't my fault at all.
when you have something like this where you're stepping away and you're looking back and you're like, you know, there's always those what ifs. What if I would have stayed? What if things would have changed? But can't harp on those.
Gives you right.
Your decision to make. So, bring this out. Made some decisions with the aunt. We kind of move into under her wing. Are you guys still in contact?
She passed away a few years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
It was hard. It was very hard. You know, I was old enough at that point. You know, I didn't need her, but
Doesn't make it
no, it doesn't.
deal with. So when she passed away, aside from general grief and feeling of loss, what else was going on? How are you navigating that?
Well, I think maybe I'm trying to fill that with each other relationships, that void. I wanted to be accepted by somebody who knows me. But I guess maybe I'm just not wanting to put in the work. No, I mean, to get to know somebody new. Because my aunt knew me. I didn't have to work on that. But I kind of feel like I have to start over again. It just hurts. It's hard.
Almost. And out there at these bars or set it for a time dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe leave those behind.
Yeah. Sorry, great.
You're smart. But
Learned that the hard way.
wow.
Yeah.
There's a whole other story there for another day, I guess. But so when you're going into these things, kind of looking for someone that is willing to do what your aunt did for you, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
100%.
Kind of just someone to take under your wing and
Mm-hmm.
be walking alongside you in life. And
But I guess it's a little different.
very different.
What's that?
Very different.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't involved romantically with my aunt. That would have been a little weird.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
More than,
don't want to go there.
more than one session for sure.
So,
But
it's, I don't know that relationship.
Yeah.
I've never dated anybody long enough to know.
how does a romantic
Right.
relationship
Yeah,
play out when
exactly.
there's equal investment and
Mm-hmm.
people are moving forward?
When with my aunt, I was a little kid.
Yeah. She watched you grow.
Mm-hmm.
He was there alongside you.
I don't know how to invest in other people.
You don't know. Wow. I'm going to put this up here. Just a question maybe is come to the latter half of the session. My bad.
I don't know.
How do I invest in other people? Seems like there's some giving in that, for sure. I mean, you shared with me that some of the ways you've invested have been, giving of my time or giving of maybe some finances and taking her out,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But when you look at what your aunt did for you, sure there was time involved, and maybe she had to buy some teaching supplies, or I'm sure if you guys went and did something when you're a kid, you're not paying as a kid, right?
Right now.
So there's aspects of that to it, but there's something deeper there.
Right.
So feel that comfort and that caring.
Mm-hmm.
What's some other things you felt? You shared those.
With my aunt.
With your aunt, yeah.
My aunt. It's contentment. I was actually kind of happy.
Happy.
Mm-hmm.
Just in being around her.
Yeah, it was just fun to be around, and we got along pretty well. And she wanted me. I didn't feel like I had to be somebody that I wasn't. It goes back to acceptance.
Yeah, very much so. That acceptance, that being wanted,
Mm-hmm.
maybe something other than just kind of being in the corner and doing your own thing.
Yep.
Kind of being like, hey, you know, you're in this, you're with us, we want you here. It's great of your aunt to give you that. Once you have to move on past that. She maybe showed you what some of those feelings look like, but as you're moving on, it's time to find them somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, with relationships, when you're going in, maybe you mentioned you always feel like it's the man's job.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pursue.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to do everything myself.
Yeah. And if you're looking for just a romanticized version of your aunt,
That sounds kind of weird.
it does sound weird. I maybe should word this a different way. You're looking
Very
for
weird.
someone who can kind of be the base for you
Mm-hmm.
and be like that comfort, that feeling of being wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go out and find it. It's a different dynamic.
I guess I have to put something in too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what scares me.
You can't just.
Find somebody high. You gonna take care of me now?
Hey, anyways, I got a little bit of baggage. I'm not gonna share it yet, but I would love it if you just hang out with me.
Yeah, I guess I can't do that.
So,
That doesn't quite work.
not long term. So, what would, let's say, hypothetical, you got a girl, 3 weeks into a relationship, maybe starts your word prying, seeing things would look like to maybe do like, you know what role play is? You ever heard of this term? Essentially, I'm just gonna let you be you,
Okay.
and so what I'm gonna do is all weirdness aside, I'm gonna be some girl you met at a bar, taking me out, you taking a liking to me, obviously not me, but this girl, and maybe I'm kind of trying to figure out where you're coming from.
Okay.
We've been there for a little while. So do you mind if we kind of try and run through this?
I guess we can try it.
No, it's a
Sounds
little
funky.
It's a little weird with the dynamic between
Yeah.
us, but maybe we'll try it.
Why not? I'm here, so.
Yeah. Try what we can, right?
Alright.
Hey, Adam.
Hi.
How you doing tonight?
I'm alright.
That's good. I had a fun time tonight, hanging out, and getting to know you more, and I was wondering, I mean, like, you never really talk about your family or anything, or any other people that are in your life, and I was just wondering, like, I'm telling you about my family, so I figured you'd tell me about yours eventually, right?
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of a touchy subject.
mean, that's like my parents got divorced and stuff. I kind of had it hard. So I mean, I just wanted to, know what's going on with you.
You like not talk about this. Just about something else.
All right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't mean to offend you or anything.
You're okay.
Sorry for that.
We're still having a good night.
All right. Yeah. Still enjoying my time with you. Talk about something else.
Okay.
All right. Scene.
Oh, that's like exactly how it happens.
Suppose when you're there, what's the feeling when she's
Fear. Anxiety.
okay?
So I don't want to share. I mean, what if she doesn't like who I was or who I am?
Mm-hmm.
What if other people around hear it? What are they gonna think?
Yeah. So it's just a fear, maybe that you're starting to be accepted by someone, maybe by them knowing this.
Yeah, it felt kind of good. Like, you want to know more about me.
Mm-hmm.
But then the fear just comes right in and pummels that.
I see. So it's a good feeling to want to be known, but it's just too much.
Yep.
Too much.
Too much.
Too much to handle. So what would be beneficial if you were to talk in that situation rather than shut it down?
I don't think I get the question.
If, let's say I'm sitting here and, some girl at the bar or girl you've been hanging out with and wants to know about you, and you react in the exact opposite way. She's like, hey, tell me about your family. Oh, this, and this, and, I had this great aunt who helped me out and really took me under her wing, and, sadly, she's gone. I don't really have this connection with mom and dad that I see others have. What would sharing that do for the relationship?
Because it would be relatable.
Relatable.
I guess it seems like I'm not really giving anybody anything to work with.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of a rock sitting here.
That's one way to put it. Maybe, obviously much more valuable than a rock, but
Right.
it's still very hard to relate to. I mean, as I'm talking to you, I can tell you're a guy with feeling, and you're not just like one of those shut off, or you got substance to you.
And I want to share it.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's so hard.
And it sounds like you haven't shared it much, but
No, you're probably one of the only people that I have.
I say you come in here and told me a lot.
It's because I'm not going to reject me.
I see. So how, I mentioned you said it was nice to get some things off your chest when we come through. What does that, what does that feel like?
I can just spew stuff and know that you're not going to disown me or not accept me.
Well, that's true.
So I think it's safe. I can just be me.
Be you. Vulnerability, finding some safety and understanding. So what would look different if it was just someone on the outside, if they found out about some of this?
I can't speak for the person. But from what you're saying, maybe they would be accepting of it.
There's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always the possibility of rejection. And that's where the fear comes in, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more often than not,
You think so?
I think you have to. There's risks in life.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the things that makes it worth it. That risk reward.
I guess you're right.
Moving through. So maybe through this, what do you think? Kind of winding down. We spent a good 45, 50 minutes talking together.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is a takeaway, even just from our short time together?
I think for me, just there's a little bit of empowerment to actually be a little more vulnerable and take another step.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you came in, like you started talking, but you know, tell you were kind of that empowerment. That's good.
Yeah.
So what empowerment is to take another step in vulnerability. I really like that word.
Yeah.
Solid. Yeah. Strong. What would that look like? How could that play out?
Maybe just taking a stab at it and trying it and open up.
I see. Mm-hmm. So I think you're planning to meet again. The appropriate question to ask. Okay. So is that something you feel like we could keep working on?
Definitely.
Maybe building
I'm
up
not
some
gonna go
strength.
anywhere if I don't take a step.
Yeah, for sure. So in the next week, maybe is there any way you could take a step to navigate yourself into a place where not as much this and a little more openness?
Because if I meet somebody, I can try to be more open.
Mm-hmm.
Like answer questions.
I think that is a good place to start. There's a definite balance. I know in maybe some of my relationship past, so I'll get in a relationship where someone is very rock hard and it's difficult to navigate, and then you have the exact opposite where it's like you're falling under a waterfall.
Yeah, I don't want to be like that.
So I don't think there's too much risk of waterfall.
No.
But I think maybe that, you know, a little bit. A little bit. A little trickle. Like stream. A stream of vulnerability.
I like that. Maybe a stream.
A stream.
Maybe it'll turn into a river. I don't know. That's getting crazy talk now.
That takes time. You gotta start small, right?
Yep.
This is a good idea. I'll work on that opening up. Looking forward to hearing how that maybe will go.
Looking forward to telling you about it.
Next couple times. Well, I've really enjoyed our time together.
Yeah, this has been great.
I appreciate just you opening up about some of this and telling me and letting me accept you for who you are a little bit.
It's been good.
Alright. Just kind of got a few more minutes if there's anything you'd like to talk about or anything that.
It's been good. It's been really good.
Hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Really, once again, just enjoy getting to meet you.
Yeah. Same with you. Being a little vulnerable with you too.
Being a little vulnerable.
Getting a little trickle out.
The trickle. We're working on it. We'll get to River one day.
All